Good afternoon. It is 2 o'clock, and I'd like to call to order the November 18th meeting of the Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. The minutes for the November 4th meeting. The minutes are in your packet. Any questions regarding the minutes? Seeing none, is there a motion for approval? Motion second, and it passes. Consent docket is up. A number of items on the agenda today. Some requests for proposals, some plans and specifications to go out for bids, some pricing agreements, contract amendments, just a little bit of everything today. Are there any items on the consent docket that the trustees would like to pull for individual consideration? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the consent docket? Motion is second, and it passes. One item under the concurrence docket is an item with the City of Oklahoma City for some change orders on a Strong Neighborhoods Initiative program around 24th, 25th Street and Harvey. There are no AQUIT funds involved in this item. Is there a motion for approval? And it's approved. There are no emergency construction contracts today. Items for individual consideration. Item 6A is the Private Development Water and Wastewater Design Requirements Manual. Mr. Browning, what are we doing with that today?
Dustin Seagraves is here to give us the highlights.
All right.
Good afternoon, Chairman and Trustees. Dustin Seagraves, I'm the Private Development Manager. We brought this to you about a year ago once we reclassified our standard manuals and details and everything. And so it's been about a year that this has been in place. And so what we're doing is we're revising this to be able to update some minor corrections and added some language and updated our easements to be able to help protect our assets. So some of the minor revisions that we have, of course, is grammatic, punctuation and terminology. We're just trying to stay consistent throughout it. We updated it and clarified some figures because there's some figures in there that we needed to redo to be able to rematch, so just some minor changes. One thing that we noted as well is 24-inch and below, we're now using PVC because of the ductile iron corrosion issues. So previously it was 16-inch and below, or 16-inch and above was ductile iron, but now we changed it to now anything 24-inch and below will be PVC. We added a grout filling the water mains when abandoned in place. What we weren't doing anything at all when we were abandoning the water mains, but in talking with Public Works, they would like us to at least grout fill the water main when it's underneath the public roadway, so that way it doesn't compromise the public roadway if it collapses or causes a cavity. So we're only doing that when it's underneath the roadway. We updated the as-built submitted process because the process that we did have said to send it in within a CD and a USB stick, which is now against policy. So we are using our new technology with Acela to be able to eliminate the use of that, and all the contractors and engineers, they all have their own separate accounts. So it's secured, and we're using the software that we currently have in place to be able to do that. And then we added some language in there for easement encroachment for clarifications because the lot sizes are getting smaller, meaning shallower and everything, and everybody wants to build a patio, they want to build a porch, they want to build a backyard barbecue and everything. And so we made it clear that we will allow flat work, meaning patios without footings or without any structural elements, but anything with a roof overhang or anything that has a footing like a retaining wall, a marquee sign, is we're not allowing in the utility easements anymore, just because of the trouble that it gives us when we go in and try to maintain them.
Okay, so if you make a repair on a patio that's out there and you damage the patio, who's responsible for the repair of the patio?
So if a patio is currently in the utility easement, currently right now is, if a patio is currently in a utility easement, they had to have a revocable permit.
Yeah, but they don't, so it's encroached.
we try to be able to get the homeowner to be able to do it, but in a lot of cases, we try not to do it, and in some accounts that we have to pay for. It all depends on the situation, and a lot of times too, if the patio was built without a revocable permit, then it's unpermitted. So therefore, it's against the homeowner, and so that's where we work with our legal counsel and everything to be able to figure out the best approach and the best way to do it.
Well, there really shouldn't be much of a gray area. If they're encroaching the easement, they don't have a revocable permit, it should not be this.
Jim, typically, Mr. Chairman, typically we allow them to put it back,
Yeah,
but we don't do it.
okay, great. That sounds good.
Now, there is a specific type of construction, I mean, just plain flat work. If it
No, he said-
requires
yeah, he
a
said
footing
that.
or things
Yeah,
like
he said-
that,
he
we
said-
won't let them put
Yeah,
that back.
Doesn't say.
Right.
So what you see here, this is a detail that we revised. What this is concerning a fire line going into a commercial business. And so what we're doing is anytime you have a private fire hydrant, they require a double check valve in front of it for protection. So what we're doing is we're making them put in a private gate valve in front of it, because the issues that we've been having is if they ever have a leak on this line, is the owners want to come out and turn off the city valve. And so instead of having them touch our valve, which is against policy, is we're requiring them to add in a private valve, so that way if there's anything they need to do maintenance on this private line or whatnot, that they have a valve in place that is theirs to maintain, and they can close it at any time without compromising our system. So that's something that we've added. Another big change that we did is the original, what we had, this is in the backyard of our sanitary sewer easement. We have a 20-foot utility easement requirement. And what we do is we offset the sewer line 2.5 feet off of one side. The way we did it previously is the only way that we can legally maintain a 10-foot clear space from the main is to have the utility easement. And so what we did is we revised this, is now what we're doing is we're offsetting the utility easement 12.5 feet on one side and 7.5 feet on the other side, and putting in the sewer main 2.5 feet on the 12.5 side. So what that allows us to do is now we have a guaranteed 10-foot clear space from the center of the main. What was happening is in the old way we were doing it is we weren't getting that 10.5, and so there are some houses that were encroaching, getting more closer to that easement, and we can't maintain that 10-foot clear space. So that's where we revised it, so now we're guaranteed a 10-foot clear space. And we've actually been incorporating that in the drawings for some time, and we sent out a letter to the contractors and the engineers, and there hasn't been any pushback for it, so they're okay with it. This is another arrangement, what we revised to make better, is whenever you are tapping a sewer main that's greater than 12 inches, is what we were requiring. Is the old ways we were putting in, and also we had it, I think it was 24 inch and greater. So we actually reduced that to now anything over 12 inches requires an installation of a new manhole. This new manhole has to be equal to or greater than, above the height of the existing manhole, and we're requiring a backwater valve. Now, this manhole is considered private. Now, the purpose of this private manhole is to be able to act as a vacuum breaker, because on these large mains, if you want to think of a 36-inch, 48-inch sewer main, the flow will actually cause a vacuum, and it can actually pull out their P-trap and their service lines and make them dry, so the sewer gases can get into their house. This right here will also act as an air brake, so that way if there are any sewer gases, that it will go up through the vented lid on the manhole. And then with the backwater valve here is an extra precaution that if this manhole ever surcharges, that if it does surcharge, it gets above here, then this will help ensure that the backwater doesn't get up into their home. And so this is what we're doing, and this is only on certain occasions, and it has to be approved. And this happens, let's say, when you have a large main, like a 48-inch main going through a property that's already there, and they want to build a development. Well, since the sewer main is there, we don't want to run a parallel line, so we have them connect their system into and we're putting the system in place to be able to help solve some of those problems. And that's it. Any questions?
Yeah, so that doesn't, in the past, there's been some blowback from the development community on these, when the standards have been modified. It doesn't appear that there's major things that would warrant that.
No, these standards, no, and we've talked with some developers and some of the engineers on this, and like I said, the major change that affected developers here was the easement changes, but we've been incorporating that easement changes for the last 6 months now, and it's only affects the backyards and everything, and it doesn't seem to be having an issue because you still have the 20-foot easement, we just kind of offset it off of the property line.
All right. One last question. Do you require saddles on the tapping of the PVC lines?
I'm sorry?
Saddles on the taps on a PVC line?
Yes, we do. We require stainless steel saddles that has stainless steel straps on them, or if it's HDPE, because we pipe burst it, it's electrofusion bonded saddle. Yes.
All right. Very good. Any questions for Dustin? Any questions regarding the private development water and wastewater design manual? Seeing none, is there a motion for approval? And it passes. Item 6B is ratifying and approving Addendum 1, awarding a contract to Archer Western Construction for surge stations at the Colgate, Ada, and Macomb pump stations. Larry,
Good afternoon. How
Hare
y'all
is here
doing?
today.
I am here today. The item before you is awarding the interim surge facilities. The pipeline has 3 brand-new pump stations at Atoka, Stonewall, and Kanawha. The 3 surge facilities will be built in the places where we're skipping the existing pump stations, which is at Macomb, Colgate, and Ada. And the purpose they serve is to provide any minor surges that happen between those long stretches of pump stations.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Hare? Seeing none, is there a motion for approval? Motion and second, and it passes. Item 6C, Mr. Stonecipher.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we had an individual reach out to us, a lawyer, that wanted to speak as to item 6C today, but that person is out of state and could not get back here for this meeting and asked that it be deferred for 2 weeks. And so at this time, I'd like to make a motion to defer item 6C to our next meeting.
All right. Second. I have a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye, or I guess we're going to vote. Vote. And the deferral passes. So we'll hear that 2 weeks from today.
Thank you.
At December 2nd? December 2nd. Items from trustees, anything this afternoon? General manager reports, Mr. Browning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Lake levels are still in decent shape. All but Canton have dropped a bit. Hefner's down 2 feet, Draper's down 1.7. Canton's still nearly a foot above full pool. Atoka and McGee have dropped down around 4 feet, but we're expecting some pretty good rains over the next few weeks, and they always fill up in the spring anyway, so we don't have any concerns there. So, looking back a year, Hefner and Draper are in pretty good shape compared to previous years. So, all in all, we're doing pretty well. And again, I'd like to thank staff for all their hard work. Good job, everybody, and I appreciate you. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Browning?
We're just glad you're back.
I'm glad to be back without my hardware.
All right. I'm not aware of any citizens to be heard. There's no further business. We are adjourned.